Okay, so this is a brief rundown of the x-ray analysis. So here we're looking at a pelvis, and I already have all these x's lined out for you. These are the essential x's you need, or the dots we'll say. So 2 at the femur head height, 2 at the top of the iliac crest, and 2 at the bottom of the ischial tube. So this first line is actually connecting the 2 femur heads. And then when we move this line up to here, the first one to get crossed is actually this right one. So we draw the right one first. And I try to make this line as close to parallel with that line as possible, but it's kind of hard on the computer. And then you would essentially move up to the next one. So we would be here. And then kind of the same thing where you want to make the line as parallel as to the femur head line as possible. So there, we have those lines. And the arrows are actually indicating the direction you should draw the line if you were to draw this on paper, but digitally kind of doesn't matter. So after we've done these 2 lines at the top, we kind of go back to here as our reference point, and then we go all the way down here. And then you kind of pick which one crosses first. So it looks like they're kind of close, but that just might be my dot placement. Let me place this dot a little bit better. There, right on the tip. And there. So that's pretty good. So now this left one crosses first, and that makes sense because this right one crosses first here. So left second. So going down, it should be left first, right second. So here we have that line through the X, and then we have this line here, marking that, and then we go down, line this up, and there you go. Traditionally, this line analysis is done on paper, pencil, and we have what we call a parallel, which we kind of roll up and down. So this is me kind of rolling it up and down to draw those lines. So this gives us kind of our base measures for looking at these. And so now we're like, okay, let's measure the top distance from the bottom distance. And I did change these dots, so it's a little different now. But when we put these here, these kind of line up close enough, right? And so now we have our distance of 220 on the right. We'll round down. Actually, we should have rounded up, so 221. And then 222 on the left. We'll just say round down because I already did some numbers earlier. So that's the analysis for the PI versus the AS ilium. And so in this case, if we are going based off of the 5th lumbar body rotation, the spinous is pointing right, so body rotation is left. Our listing is actually going to be on the left side. So we're going to have a PI of 2, and then it's 22 minus 20, so it would be PI2. So that's where you get that number, PI2. So we'll put this here for our reference, PI2. And then now we do the IN versus the EX listing. And so when you do the IN versus the EX listing, you're to draw a dot here at the S1 tubercle. And then similarly, you draw a dot here in the center of the pubic symphysis. Now you take your parallel or your perpendicular line to this horizontal line, and you line it up to the sacral tubercle, so here. And now you have the distance between this X, the center, and this line. And that exact distance, oh no, I'm messing this up. I wish I could press back. That exact distance was about 3 millimeters. Something like that. So that's that distance, and then I'll remove that just so we can have that distance here. But when I put this line back, actually, Now we see that this x is on the right side of this line. So this is in, this is ex. And since we're listing this left side, we're going to say it's ex. So now we have pi 2 ex 3. And so that's our listing for this pelvis on the left. And here I had already made that listing to be exact. So now we're looking at left PIEX. And the more important thing to adjust on this pelvis particularly would be the EX, because the EX is the bigger number of the two. If this PI was, let's say, 7 and this EX was still 3, then the more important thing to adjust would be the PI of 2.